What's up, champ? Hope you have a great day, another TRUEversation. Hope you're doing absolutely amazing. Today we're going to talk about self-accountability and destination addiction. And we're going to start off with a quote. The grass is not greener on the other side. The grass is greener where you water it. The grass is not greener on the other side. The grass is greener where you water it. And I think that's such a true statement. And a lot of us are falling for this, what I like to call destination addiction, which is essentially that the grass is just always greener on the other side. So just ask yourself this. How many projects have you started this year? Boyfriends, flirts, Instagram accounts, career, diets, workout plans, new projects, entrepreneurial events. How many artists do you know that are constantly putting up the same thing online, saying, working on something, stay tuned, you're not ready for blah, this is about to happen, and then nothing happens? People are planning more than they're executing. We have been constantly waiting for a new season from you, my friend. What is happening? It's like Game of Thrones. What's going on? There's a year and a half plus between every season. What are we waiting for? What are we doing? It's destination addiction. It's destination addiction. Because you're just walking away from these, you're walking away from them because you think it's better over there. So you're starting this diet and then you stop, because then you're starting that diet and then you stop, because you're starting that diet, and then you're with this girl or boy or this partner, and then you go for this one, and then you're with this one, and then you're with this one, and then you're with this one, or you have this group of friends, and then you meet this other group of friends, and then you meet this other group of friends, and oh, this is my best friend, this is my best friend, this is my best friend. I have friends in the dance community that been running through I don't know how many boyfriends, and every boyfriend since I left Barcelona is the love of her life. And I'm happy. I get happy every time I see it, because I truly believe it. I truly believe that she believes it. But at some point you have to look at the pattern and say, what is going on here? Because this is what TRUEversation is all about. I'm not hating on love. I love love. That's not what it's about. But at some point I have to look at the pattern, saying that this is the fifth boy, this is your fifth partner since I left Barcelona just 3 years ago or 4 years ago. And everyone is the love of your life. At what point do you start to water your grass? At what point do you stop going for some mow? That is a great quote. I'm with a friend. That is a great quote. Me and a couple of friends were at the club. This is back in the days. A couple of friends were at the club, and we're with a group of girls. And then I'm saying, hey, guys, I know these girls. I know these girls also. We should take them also, because we have this VIP table. And then my friend who's a bit older than me, a bit wiser. Keep in mind, this is a couple of years ago, back in the days. My friend stops me and says, hey brother, why go for mo when we have something for show? And that shit stuck with me. That shit stuck with me.
So true.
That shit stuck with me. Because again, how many diets have you started? How many new partners, how many love of your lives have you been having? And I'm the same. You know how many times I've been in love? Like, I've been in love, like deep love, like looked at people thinking like this gotta be it. Like, I think this is it. And then after a while it turns out that it wasn't. And that's why I'm staying solo for a while. Staying solo. Getting to know myself, doing the self-work. Okay, but what's going on here? There's only one common denominator in all my previous relationships that didn't last, and the common denominator is me. So it's either that I'm choosing fucked up people or that I'm fucked up. Could be a mix of both. Because you have to look at it. And the same thing goes with like destination addiction. Like, do you know how many times I moved? Like when I say to people, I lived in 6 different countries. Lived, not traveled, lived. And I consider living somewhere where you stay in one place for over 6 months. When you stayed in one place for over 6 months, I consider that, okay, I've actually lived here. So I lived in Sweden, Norway, Spain, Malta, Cape Verde, Australia. So I lived in 6 different countries. What am I looking for? What have I been looking for? What have I been looking for? Right? And then now when I'm in Cape Verde, which is the only place in the last, probably 20 last year, that I've been staying in one spot for longer than 1 year. The only time I stayed in one country for over a year is here. And it's probably been 20 years since that have happened last time, right? Like, what have I been looking for? This. I've been looking for this. I've been looking for roots. I'm looking for myself and the spiritual connection that I have with this country and the fulfillment that I'm feeling now. So I can tell you this now. Now, I still want to travel. But at what point do you, because you got to check yourself. I have to check myself. I got to pull the handbrakes and say like, why am I vagabonding? Right? Like, I was never a nomad. I was never a nomad. A nomad is somebody that travels to different countries and places looking for food and work. That was never my thing. I was traveling for traveling. I am the definition of a vagabond. I've been just out searching. What am I searching for? I don't know. I don't know. A place to fit in. A place to feel good about myself. A place where I can feel accepted and that I belong and that I can make change. And I found that. Boom, Cape Verde. Right? So like, at what point do I pull the handbrake and like, alright, cool, like, I can slow down now. I can slow down now. Because when I was living this fast-paced lifestyle of dancing, new country every year, new country every weekend, new country every weekend, new country every weekend. In 2018, I traveled to 38 different locations. In 2018, I traveled 38 times. That's flights. 38 flights. Or like there's more flights. Like it's 38 out of Norway. 38 times out of Norway. Like, imagine that. What are you doing? Where are you going? I don't know. I don't know. Destination addiction. That's what it is. That's what it was. And then I understood it's like, okay, but there is probably something here. There is probably something. There's probably like a fear of commitment or that is holding me back, right? But I wasn't scared of committing to like a person, because I had long-term relationships and I wasn't scared about living in one place, but I was scared, or like, I'm not even sure. I'm not even sure if maybe I wasn't scared. I never felt scared, but I was certainly looking for something. And I'm confident that I found that here in Cape Verde, that what I've been looking for all these years was that sense of belonging, sense of being part of a community, sense of finding myself, the missing piece of the puzzle that I found on the Cape Verde Islands. It was obviously because my family's from here, right? But it's important to check yourself. Because there is this thing called gamophobia. I even had to write it up. Gamophobia, which is the fear of commitment. And I think a lot of you guys have that. I think that's why you're constantly running to your next partner. I think that's why you're constantly running. You can't be alone. You can't be alone. Like I have. And a lot of people are talking about how good it is to be alone. A lot of people are talking about no self-love, like I love spending time with myself. So why don't you? Why don't you ever spend time with yourself? You jumped from one boyfriend to another boyfriend. You're never spending time alone because you're constantly with him. So what are you doing? Is your action backing up your ambitions, or is that actually something that sounds good for you? Then look at your actions. This is why I say, like, I can say for a fact that I've been a vagabundo. I can say for a fact that I had destination addiction. Why? Because I was just out, restless soul, just had to go to another place, had to go to a new place. So, but then it's also important to look at yourself and say, well, do I have a fear of commitment or do I have fear of abandonment? I met a girl this summer, beautiful, beautiful woman. Shout out to Quantum Entanglement if you're happening to watch. And she asked me a great question. It was like, what is one of the main things that you had to work on? What is one of the main traumas that you had to work on? And I say, well, as a young man, I was chased by Nazis, and I had this fear of not fitting in. I never felt that I belonged anywhere, so I had to do a lot of self-work and able to accept myself. I didn't know if I was black, I didn't know if I was white, and one of the most common questions I kept asking myself was that if I end up in jail, or not even if, it's when I end up in jail, because I just thought that was like a natural part almost of a man's life. So when I end up in jail, will I be with the white guys or will I be with the black guys? Which table will I sit on? Well, I can't sit on the white table because they are Nazis and Nazis obviously hate me. Well, will the black guys accept me? They don't seem to accept me because when I meet Cape Verdean people in Sweden, I didn't feel accepted at all because I couldn't speak the language and everybody called me white. So I think that was like one of the traumas I've been working the most on. I asked her the same, it's like, what is your biggest trauma that you're working on currently? And she asked me, well, probably the fear of abandonment. And I think that was such a powerful thing. Because a lot of us are talking that we have a fear of commitment, but do you have a fear of commitment or do you have a fear of being hurt? Do you have a fear of being abandoned? What's really going on under the hood here? Because that's what you have to do. If you want to get out of this, you have to do more self-work. You have to do more self-work. And not homework. I'm never going to give you guys homework. Ever. I'm never going to give you guys homework. Homework means that you prove to me that you've done what I told you to do. That's what homework is. You prove to your teacher that you've done what you're supposed to do. Or that what he thinks that you're supposed to do. Self-work is proving to yourself that you give a fuck about yourself. That's self-work. So go and you do the work for yourself. And you do that by journaling, going on self-dates, having conversations with yourself, shutting out noise, and just thinking. When I'm leaving the gym or when I'm going somewhere now, I barely listen to music. If I listen to podcasts, it's probably at home. And even then, I'm like, rarely. Because I want to hear my thoughts. So the only time I'm really consuming music or podcast, honestly, if I think about it, is when I'm at the gym. Maybe at like the breaks at work. But even then, like I want to think. I want to understand what's going on up here. What am I doing? Do I have a fear of commitment? Do I have a fear of abandonment? Or is it just that I'm good? You have to contemplate life. You have to really look into life and what am I doing? Like I've been without dating anyone for a long time now. Is this because I have a fear of something, or is it because I'm good? I feel that I'm good. I feel great, but I still need to open that. I still need to open that box and look into it. Because if not, I'm just living in disillusion. Then how can I have a podcast saying TRUEversation if I don't check myself? I have to check myself. Because most of you are scared of doing the work because you are afraid of what you might find. I'm telling you guys to go on dinners. I'm telling you guys to go out and take dinners with yourself. Go on self-dates. But you are so terrified of who you're going to meet on that self-date that you don't do it. Yeah, but Coach Sebastian, I thought self-dates was be with yourself. It is with yourself. But if you spend enough time in silence, You will meet other people that live up here. And the question is, will you turn on music just to shut it out? Will you put on will you put on a podcast just to shut it out? To keep your mind busy. Mishid. Like in Korea we say mishid, like you keep your mind just busy. Or do you dare to look into the depths of your own mind and stare into the darkness? Because if you stare into the darkness long enough, I promise you, you will see light sooner than later. If you stare into your dark side and you're scaring, do I have fear of abandonment? Probably. Why do I have that? Keep looking, keep looking, keep looking. And then by the end of it, I promise you that you will find that person, because going on self-dates is, again, you're never alone. Never alone when you're going on these self-dates. But you are terrified of who you're going to meet if you take that time alone. This is why you meet people that can never be home alone. They can never be in silence. No, but I'm great being home alone. I'm great being home alone. I love being alone. You're not alone. You spent the entire night on Instagram. You're not alone. You didn't spend time contemplating your life. You were listening to music. You were dancing. You did everything to occupy your mind, to not look into the mirror. You did everything but to be alone. Now I really like feeling grounded. Buzzword of the week, grounded. Really like feeling grounded. Right, what do? Escaped away from reality. Come back, I feel recharged. Which is good. You have to get away sometimes. But when you're away, you should be without internet. You should do things that literally grounds you. And it doesn't matter what you did over there. What matters is who you come back as. That's what matters. Because you can be rejuvenated. You can have this rebirth just by doing it. One of my childhood heroes is Malcolm X. Until today, he's one of my heroes. Why? Malcolm X was a drug addict, a pimp, was up to all types of bullshit. Went to jail, came back as Malcolm X. As a newborn man. One could argue he was the leader of Nation of Islam for a while. Went to Mecca, came back as a new man again. Phoenix, rebirth, 3 times. 3 versions of him. Never stopped to giving birth to a new version of himself. Why? Because he dared to look into the mirror, have a self-date, look at the person in front of him and analyze him and ask hard questions. Am I wrong? I might be wrong here. What can I do about it? But you can fabricate that. You don't need to go to Mecca. You don't need to go to jail. You can decide to change. And if you go, if you dare, I dare you to get away. I dare you to get away for just a couple of weeks. Even better, I dare you to work on yourself for 6 months. Let's see who you can be. Let's see who you become if you just stay disciplined. If you just water the grass for 6 months. I told you guys before, I have all of these plants here. I'm taking care of these plants. These are my plants. There is a symbolism behind them, because I know if I don't take care of them, look how much they're growing. Look, they're growing. Look at these. These are babies. These are babies. These are, I don't know if you can see it. These are new leaves. Look at this. These are new leaves being born. Look at this one. These are new versions of himself. So there is a symbolism behind it. There is a deeper meaning behind it. So if you dare to just work on yourself, stare at yourself, read about yourself, write about yourself, work on yourself for 6 months, probably 3 to 4. But I know if I say 6 months, most of you are just going to do 3 and 4, and then that's going to be good enough. It's not going to be good enough, it's going to be something at least. Just commit to work on yourself. Water your own grass, and I promise you, your garden is going to be as beautiful as the Geta garden that I have here behind me. Get to work, stay sharp.